NBPOL celebrates 50 years. Lay police release names of escapees. And Lupari says HODs must serve the people.
This is National MTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us for Saturday's news. Chief Secretary Isaac Lupari has challenged departmental heads to do something about the needs of people at the village level. Mr. Lupari said many times the cries of people in remote Papua New Guinea go unanswered because those in power do not visit their people. He made the statement at Keapara village in Rigo district after locals told departmental heads of their daily challenges in accessing health, education and transport services.
All heads of government departments, including chief executive offices of state-owned enterprises, were in Keapara yesterday for the second departmental heads meeting for 2017.
The leaders meeting here will inspire a lot more younger people to aspire.
Keapara is the home of sitting Rigo MP Anopala, who is a candidate in the ruling People's National Congress Party and also the sitting Attorney General. It is also the home of Personnel Management Secretary John Cully. The leaders were given a very special welcome with both traditional and modern contemporary dances. The meeting kicked off with a brief history of Keapara and the surrounding villages. With the advantage that the meeting was hosted in Keapara, Rigo district officials pointed out the difficulties their people face in trying to access government services. Their challenges include access to clean water supply, proper road infrastructure, and shortage in health workers. In the last 3 decades, the people have been catching 20 kina PMV ride to Kwikila Station or even Port Moresby to access health, education, or law and order services. They are now calling on departmental heads in the health, education, and law and justice sector to see their needs and assist where they can. The second departmental heads meeting was purposely held in a village setting to give departmental heads an insight into real struggles of village communities. Not that the leaders are not aware of these challenges, but to have direct contact with the people and really see their needs. Thakla Gunga, National MTV News.
In a related story, the people of Keapara, Alukuni and Karawa in the Rigo district of Central Province are very much dependent on only one community health worker. Priscilla Miao is the only health worker and has been serving the 3 villages for a decade. Her passion to serve the people has kept her there despite lack of assistance from concerned health authorities.
Priscilla comes from EU in the Gulf province. She came to Keapara in 2005 and is still serving here.
I enjoy my work as being a nurse, serving communities here.
The aid post that she is serving in is the only aid post in the district that is in operation.
I came into this community in 2005 in June. And I've served in this community for almost 10 years. I work myself here in the community, serving about 2,900 plus population.
The other 16 are no longer operating. In this coastal village, worm infestation, flu and malaria are common illnesses. Being the only community health worker in this part of Rigo, she treats up to 5,000 villages. Her main challenges are attending to emergency cases like pregnancy and other life and death situations.
In terms of emergency cases, I have no ambulance or no dinghy. I run around looking for transport to send my patients or refer them to the big hospital. But otherwise, the ambulance service is provided by Kwikila Health Center. When there is no ambulance available, we get the patient on the PMV on their own cost.
There are many other individuals like Priscilla in other remote areas in Papua New Guinea. While the government continues to boast about its free health care policy at major hospitals, many clinics and aid posts in rural areas are closing. One such example is the Rigo district. The district used to have 16 aid posts, but all have closed because of the shortage in health workers or the deteriorating infrastructures. Thakla Gunga, National MTV News.
It's a golden jubilee for New Britain Palm Oil. The company marked 50 years of operations in Papua New Guinea yesterday. New Britain Palm Oil was first incorporated in the country in 1967 and has since grown into the largest private sector employer in PNG.
West New Britain Province, home of the oil palm and for the past 50 years, home of palm oil giant New Britain Palm Oil Limited. NBPOL is currently the biggest private employer in PNG and is also the oldest and most successfully operated oil palm company within the country. Yesterday marked 50 years since the Sim Darby entity was first established in PNG.
It's actually 50 years today that we were incorporated as a business in Papua New Guinea. West New Britain's certainly the initial part of New Britain, and one would say, New Britain, so the heart of New Britain Palm Oil. Over the 50 years, we started off in 1967 with just sort of 2,500 hectares of oil palm at Baberi and also at Dami Research Station, where the initial plant breeding material was brought in from Malaysia. And so we expanded. That was going to be our seed production business, and we started initially with what was called Project Genesis with Baberi plantation here. And then, so where we are now, 50 years later, 40,000 hectares here in West New Britain.
To celebrate the company's Golden Jubilee, National Airline Air New Guinea has branded their Focus 70 called Hoskins with the NBPOL 50 years logo. The logo on the F-70 signifies the cooperation and support between both organizations throughout the years. Air New Guinea General Manager, Customers and Markets, Dominic Kaumu, congratulated NBPOL yesterday at the unveiling of the logo and thanked them for their contribution to Air New Guinea's success. Leanne Gerari, National MTV News, Kimbe.
New Britain Palm Oil is supplying electricity from biogas to the people of Kimbe through a partnership with PNG Power. The oil palm giant sells 1 megawatt of electricity to PNG Power's grid. Leanne Gerari has this story.
Biogas typically refers to the mixture of different gases produced by a breakdown of organic matter. Now, in this case, methane is produced by palm oil mill effluents or mill wastage.
We've evolved into sort of biogas production, so we now supply the Kimbe grid with about 1 megawatt of power, about 20% of their power requirements, and looking to do much more of that, and I think you'll see some footage of what we're doing with the biogas there later on today.
At present, New Britain Palm Oil supplies 1 megawatt of electricity to the PNG Power grid from their Mosa and Kombago biogas sites. Now, this offers a clean and green and sustainable source of energy, and this is ideal for future generations as well as the environment. Leanne Gerari, National MTV News, Kimbe.
Here with National MTV News, we'll have more stories after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National MTV News. The Lae Police Metropolitan Command has released the names and pictures of some of the inmates who escaped from Buimo just a little over 2 weeks ago. The pictures have been posted on the Metropolitan Command's Facebook page. Official figures of those at large have been revised down to 41.
After setting up its Facebook page about a month ago, the Lae Metropolitan Command has been keeping its followers updated with the latest. Now, the Facebook page is being used to seek public help to recapture more than 40 prisoners who escaped from the Buimo prison 2 weeks ago. Speaking earlier this week, Metropolitan Superintendent Anthony Wagambi said Members of the public can expect to see a rise in crime, but he urged relatives of the escapees to hand them over to police.
You know, they're still on the run. But once they get settled, that's when we will start to experience a rise in criminal activity. So it is a lot of pressure on police.
The Facebook post contains more than 50 images and uses information from the cell management system established with the help of the Australian Federal Police advisors. Wagambi has also advised that prisoners who came in before the system was put in place will not have information and pictures readily available. According to the Correctional Service Command, investigations into the escape and the subsequent shooting of 17 prisoners will happen once funds are available. Scott White, National MTV News, Lae.
The man electrocuted in Boroko while urinating in public has been identified as 22-year-old Yombon Herman from Siri village in Enga province. MTV's Bethany Herman and cameraman Gary Pinge spoke to family members at the house this morning at Morata. They say Yombon was killed because the transformer is a neglected death trap.
When we took our cameras into Morata this morning, Yombon's mothers were still weeping openly. We talked to his father. He has leveled the blame on the shopping center and PNG's only power distribution company.
I'm wrong, sablo tubla wanted. TST na power, PNG power. Autumn na light blow, young blow mangi blow me. Mr. Yombon Ramanum loose.
We then talked to his brothers and uncles. They collectively feel that Yombon couldn't have died if there were signs notifying the public of the dangers.
Mibla also my group relatives, Mibla Pilimolton. We had negligence long we said company or PNG power, whoever, any negligence.
Yombon is not just a boy seller. He did this to earn a living in order to eat in the afternoon and have money to give to his family. Yombon tragically died on Thursday when he got electrocuted after urinating next to a transformer. He died near a public shopping center at peak hours on Thursday. Yesterday, there were no reports at the Boroko police station of his death. But this morning, his family continued to mourn his tragic and abrupt departure. Bethany Harriman, National MTV News.
The Papua New Guinea Electoral Commission will not make any changes on the names of provincial election managers or returning officers. Electoral Commissioner Patilias Gamato said Papua New Guinea is already in the second phase of the election cycle and it is too late to make those changes.
We have to do second level and third level.
The Commissioner made these remarks when giving an update on the progress of the 2017 National General Election. Mr. Gamato says Electoral Commission is now doing other necessary preparations like looking at the creation of new wards and polling venues. Thus, requests from provincial election steering committees to change the names of election managers or PROs have been denied.
Okay, we have done a few changes. After that, there was still some requests coming in from provinces, from the provincial election steering committees. I said, no, I cannot change that because the events gone past us and we cannot continue to change.
Papua New Guinea is now into the fourth week of campaign. Reports submitted to MTV News from the Highlands region reveal that provinces in the region are either recruiting polling officials or identifying polling venues. In recent interviews with provincial police commanders in the New Guinea Islands region, the operations are well conducted. There is joint effort by members of the three disciplinary forces in providing a free, fair, safe and secure election.
Within the NGI region, it's very quiet. From the start of the issue of writs to the closing of the nomination period.
The confirmed polling dates are from July 24th to 8th July 2017. That is about 5 weeks from now. Tekla Gunga, National MTV News.
Sitting Kairukuhiri MP Peter Isoamo continued his election campaign in Veifa in Mekeo and Waima in Kairuku. Isoaimo's campaign is fiercely aimed at returning for a full term after spending 2 years following a by-election in 2014.
A convoy through Mekeo with supporters railing behind him. The sitting Kairikuhiri MP is campaigning to get votes in the elections. The first-time Member of Parliament wants to return. He's doing everything in his power to return for a full 5-year term. In Waifa and Waima, people collectively praised Isoaimo for the kind of leadership he tries to emanate. It is too early to predict the effectiveness of Isoaimo's campaign trail, but it is fiercely competitive. People in the electorate have spoken in public forums saying Isoaimo is the kind of leader for the Kairikuhiri district. But the sitting MP has stiff competition from 26 other candidates, including People's National Congress Party candidate Paru Aihi, who he defeated in a by-election in 2014 to claim the seat. Pangu Party and the People's Progress Party have also put up candidates. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News.
Yeah, with National EMTV News, up next, stories making headlines overseas. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Turning overseas now, it could be a case of out of the frying pan and into the fire for Julian Assange. Despite Swedish authorities dropping a long-running rape investigation, the WikiLeaks founder remains inside the Ecuadorian embassy in London, where he sought political asylum 5 years ago. The United Kingdom and America still have him in their sights.
A rare breath of fresh air for a defiant Julian Assange, but he's far from tasting freedom.
Today is an important victory for me and for the UN human rights system. 7 years without charge, why my children grew up without me. That is not something that I can forgive. It is not something that I can forget.
Swedish prosecutors have dropped an investigation over rape allegations. He's always maintained his innocence and took refuge at the Ecuadorian embassy in 2012 to avoid extradition to Sweden.
In order to proceed, it would be necessary for Julian Assange to be formally served notice of the crimes of which he is suspected. This was a measure that was to have been conducted during an interview in London, but Mr. Assange refused to make this possible.
The woman who accused him of rape issued a statement saying he was evading justice and expressed shock that the investigation would not be pursued.
He was subject to extradition proceedings within the EU under the European arrest warrant scheme. He would have received a fair trial in Sweden had he chosen to go back. And the fact that the proceedings lasted 7 years was entirely down to him.
Assange said he feared Sweden would hand him over to America over WikiLeaks' publication of thousands of classified military and diplomatic documents.
For almost 5 years, Julian Assange has been holed up in that embassy, but if he steps out on the footpath, police said they would be obliged to still arrest him.
He breached bail to seek asylum here and has been under 24-hour police guard, which by October 2015 had cost $25 million.
I simply hope that we can find a way forward that doesn't involve any more police looking after Mr. Assange and wasting everybody's time and money.
It's unknown if the UK has received an extradition request from the US, but the Attorney General recently said arresting Assange was a priority.
I'm always happy to engage in a dialogue with the Department of Justice about what has occurred.
It's 7 decades since the prestigious Magnum Photo Agency was formed. It was started by 4 photographers who were deeply affected by the events of World War II and have since gone on to capture some of the most iconic images in history.
D-Day, as seen by Robert Capa, the famous Hungarian war photographer who in 1947 joined forces with Henri Cartier-Bresson, the great chronicler of 20th century life, to form with 3 others the Magnum Photo Agency, a cooperative of like-minded photographers whose mission was to go to whatever lengths were necessary to capture the decisive moment.
You can tell a Magnum picture a mile away. Such style. These pictures that we're looking at here on this table, the Kappas, you know, the Elliot Erwitz, the Cartier-Bressons, they have lasted all through the... That picture of Cartier-Bresson taken, you know, on the riverbank is a great photograph today, let alone 50 years ago. And that's, I think, if you can take a photograph that lasts, then you've got a magnum photograph. There's a saying in photography, if you're not close enough, you're not good enough. And these are a time of 35mm photography, getting in really close. I mean, you can smell the gases there, the action. This is the classic one where the kid is, you know, he's got a sort of a weapon of some sort and he's taking the police on.
Magnum helped shape the way we saw and felt about the world in China, Mexico, Afghanistan, North Korea and Hollywood. The agency thrived during the post-war boom in magazine publishing, but those days are over and life is much harder, added to which everyone's a photographer nowadays. But not everybody can take pictures like these, which offer an unexpected view, which capture that decisive moment.
Trukai Sports is next. We have a big lineup: football, netball, rugby union and more. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Oceania Football Confederation has issued a media statement clarifying the position of PNG Football Association President David Chung. This comes in response to an article written by an online publication, Inside World Football, which claims Chung's election to the presidency of the PNG FA was illegal. The OFC, however, has stated that the election process was conducted in accordance with FIFA statutes and that no funds were used by Mr. Chung leading up to the election. David Chung is currently the longest-serving OFC president. To netball now. Mermaids Netball Club in Port Moresby received a cheque of 30,000 kina from Lay Snacks Biscuit this week. The company has been assisting the netball club since the club's inception. Club president Paula Kasman said the funds will go towards development of players and the purchasing of new equipment.
Mermaids Netball Club President Paula Kasman told MTV Sports that funds generated from sponsorship will go towards the betterment of the club. She said 30,000 kina is a lot of money and Mermaids Netball Club is grateful for their ongoing support from Lay Snacks Biscuit.
Lay Biscuit Company came on board in 1993 when Mermaids just came into being, and the Chow family, Ian and Fabian, with their father's late Sir Henry Chow, came to our aid and helped us start Mermaids Netball Club, and they've been with us for 24 years now. Yeah. And today they've handed over a sponsorship of 30,000 kina.
Paulie said running the club for over 24 years has produced some big names that have represented the country at the world stage. Sales team leader of Lay Snacks Biscuit, Lawrence Laiwa, said the company has provided assistance for grassroots competition up to national events and will continue to fund sporting activities as part of their community obligation.
The company has been loyal, especially the Chow family. They've been loyal to supporting the club. They want to see the young generation, advance their sporting careers.
We are planning to bring specialist coaches and specialist umpires to come and help our club, boost our club and lift our profile.
Godwin Eki, National MTV Sports.
NCD Rugby Union has launched its 2017 season. President Sibel Druma says 2017 will be full of surprises and equal opportunities for teams and officials of NCD Rugby Union.
Officially launching its 2017 season proper competition, President Sibel Druma said it has been months of hard work of putting together a system in place for youths who love rugby union, and working towards results with board members was an achievement in itself.
Without further ado, our 2017 season is hereby launched, and we are looking forward to an exciting competition. We have gone to great extent and lengths to ensure that everything that we're doing in terms of the competition does comply with World Rugby standards.
She says while clubs are to kick off with their proper season, a lot of thought has been put into forming the new association, and plans to boost the level of coaching will also be looked at to carry proper standards when it comes to playing sports. She believes the mechanisms they have put into place to deal with different aspects of the game will go a long way when it comes to improving the quality of the games in following World Rugby standards.
I believe that with all of the mechanisms that we're putting into place in terms of doing the little things right, in terms of our standards, and in terms of our coaching forum, which we've also introduced. It's called the Huddle 101. And basically that's hands-on coaching with different aspects of the game.
While PNG Rugby Football Union is aware of the establishment of the NCD Rugby Union, NCDRU President Sibel Druma says PNG RFU is in support of their standards and that the new association is to stay under the guidelines of PNG Rugby Football Union. Mass participation is also one objective that NCDRU is looking at promoting in the long run.
And we don't see that PNG RFU would not be in agreement to it, because that is what one of their objectives, PNG RFU, is for mass participation.
Godwin Eki, National, MTV Sports.
Team PNG's Heroes program came to an end at the Institute of Business Studies yesterday. The week-long program saw participants from various sporting codes learning skills and social development. Athletes were taught to be confident in public speaking, dealing with life after sports, and learning to write resumes for future endeavors.
The initial teaching focuses on various facets related to Olympic and sporting moments like skills development, issues affecting sports, and social and development issues. Based on these principles, the group of elite athletes are tested and trained to develop their public speaking abilities and communication methods when speaking to a large audience or to a camera. While this is the second intake for this year, Deputy Secretary General of the PNG Olympics Committee, Andrew Lepani, says most of the athletes have come out of their comfort zone.
So the PNG Olympic Committee vision is to inspire and unite Papua New Guineans through sporting excellence and success, and we view our Team PNG athletes as the perfect conduits to inspire the nation and inspire the younger generation.
He said the program also helps the athletes to show full concentration of their sport, inspires them to go out and speak freely, motivates them to do more and help understand one another. Charles Amini, who is now under a scholarship program at IBS, says future pathways are endless and he will continue to work at achieving his dreams.
Not only afraid of talking, but just standing up in front of an audience and really saying what they want to say.
As a youngest athlete in my sport, netball, for me, one of the things that I really want to learn on, which is my confidence in public speaking.
One of the main things that I've learned this week is basic public speaking. That's one of the areas that I want to work in life.
They all say some of the key areas athletes are now lacking are dedication, self-control, friendship, loyalty, leadership skills, respect, and others. Having to attend such programs by elite athletes will help them to understand themselves better and also how they can become good role models in their own communities.
So the sessions over the last couple of days have been around goal setting, identifying what their dreams are, but also understanding who they are, their behavioral traits, what values do they feel are important to them, and then building their skills as public speakers, as agents of change.
Godwin Eki, National, MTV Sports.
The first weekend of official competition began today for the Schools Football Association. Held at the Bisini grounds, large attendance by students in the nation's capital made for an exciting day. Mr. Football, Jeremy Mogi reports.
Featuring only 20 schools, the association is looking at improving the standard of football in the country, starting from the lower age groups.
You can see the evidence is there before you. This is the power of football and what it can bring, especially dealing with all the children around you, you can see. And we're happy to continue to stage this football. It is very strong. We started slow, but then we are picking up. At the moment, we're doing with time. We're cutting a lot of timing, but hopefully next week we will get the timing right, especially for our under 18 which is you can see in the background.
For Schools Football Chairman John Moggy, this has been a long time coming. Although the administration and setup is an important part of growth for the competition in the long run.
We will get it running, all right, and already you can see with just 20 schools behind me here, all right, you can see the interest. You imagine there are 50 schools in NCD. When you get 3 districts involved, it's huge.
The belief is that this is the future of football, with a defined pathway including skill development for both teachers and coaches, as well as proposed referees clinics. An inter-district competition is in the works, with a push for a bigger select-side networking plan. The current PNG national team coach and assistant coach are in talks with Schools Football Port Moresby at the moment in a bid to instill a better coaching philosophy for development, something that the organisation is hoping to transcend down to the youth level.
Exactly. Don't forget the national coach is part and parcel of Schools Football, all right? And also the assistant coach in Mr. Reg Devani, he's also part and parcel of Schools Football. So we are confident, we are really enthusiastic, and we really want to see things get off the ground.
The Schools Football Association will continue its competition over the next 2 months. Jeremy Moggy, National TV Sports.
And Trukai Sports continues after the break with NRL and Super Rugby. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To the NRL, another loss for the Warriors last night, a disappointing performance against the Dragons. Brisbane Broncos also crushed West Tigers 36 points to 0. The Warriors' downward spiral ended with a 30 points to 14 scoreline against the Dragons.
It couldn't have been a more perfect start. Departing Warrior Ben Matulino scoring the opening try in his 200th match for the club.
What a moment for Big Ben!
Unfortunately, the rest of the team couldn't back Big Ben up. Defensively, the Warriors were poor, guilty of 57 missed tackles. The Dragons offloading 20 times to the Warriors 1. Former Kiwi and Wellington-born Dragons winger Khalifa Faifai-Loa exposing the home side in his first game of the season.
Oh, that's brilliant! What a superb try!
The defensive lapses continued.
But it's play on, it's play on!
The Dragons scoring 2 more tries to lead 18-10 at the break.
McCrone shrugs off a couple of defenders. What an option! Here comes Lafai again! It's Lafai!
The Warriors' poor second-half form continued, with the Red V attack coming in waves.
And there's a big hole up the centre, and away goes Hame Sele. What a run from Sele! Nightingale, McCrone, here's McInnes. It's Milner to McDonald's, and McDonald scores in the corner.
Very disappointing the way we played, and yeah, a lot of stuff we need to work on going to the next game.
And that'll be the razzle-dazzle Broncos, who last night destroyed the West Tigers 36-0.
Gets away from a couple, and now trying to stand up north for Luma. Jimmy the Jets in fine form, gives it to Nicarima and says, you do the rest.
To Super Rugby, a rush of concussions has marred 2 thrilling encounters overnight. Fullbacks were forced to leave the field. Blues playmaker Bruce Francis, the biggest casualty.
The Blues were closing in on a vital South African victory over the Stormers when first 5 Piers Francis was clobbered in Cape Town.
A swinging arm there that made contact with the head.
Former Highlander Sean Treby escaped with just a penalty, and play stopped for 5 minutes while Francis was attended to. His counterpart then launched the Stormers fight back. And they went on to beat the Blues 30-22, denying them a crucial bonus point. Earlier, the Blues had shown plenty of fight. Springbok enforcer Eben Etzebeth responding to Akira Ioane's challenge. Sonny Bill Williams rushing in to play peacemaker.
At each other's throats, literally.
Etzebeth way too smart not to unload on him before he was sin-binned. Then the Blues pounced with prop Charlie Faumuina, again showcasing his skills.
George Moana is in. And Faumuina, look at that float over the top for Parsons.
Williams' sleight of hand, also impressive.
Sonny Bill Williams puts it up and Benson is in.
But they floundered after Francis left. Ironically, Matt Duffy was sent off for this, as it was his second yellow card offence. And it doesn't get any easier for the Blues, heading home to host the Chiefs next Friday.
And the Chiefs will be hurting too after being run down 31-24 by the table-topping Crusaders in Fiji. 3 midfield backs failed concussion tests during the match with the Crusaders.
Crotty slamming into the hard Fijian turf. 2 more midfielders would head off for concussion. The Chiefs' Sam McNichol and, ironically, his replacement Stephen Donald. None returned. The head knocks taking the gloss off an otherwise thrilling encounter.
Now Aaron Cruden looking to link up. Does so wide for now Williams.
And this fickle bounce of the ball from Cruden's kick serving up the Chiefs' second try to James Lowe.
Waiting for a favourable bounce and knocked it on. Now chance here for James Lowe. And he gets there.
There was no panic from the Crusaders, though, quickly striking back through Matt Todd's late replacement, Hayden Bidwell-Curtis.
He gets the pass away to Bidwell-Curtis.
And while Richie Mo'unga started quietly, he was crucial in sparking the Crusaders' second half tries. This one is sure to be a contender for try of the season.
Looking to link up, and he finds Goodhue, McKenzie, and what a try for David Havili.
Meanwhile, Cruden only compounded matters for the Chiefs.
Not his best night with the boot, Aaron Cruden. Kurbalo gets Cruden to change direction. He puts it out on the full.
Mo'unga again at his brilliant best, capitalising on Cruden's mistake to set up Ben Fonnell, his 5th try this year.
Throws it away for Mataili. Now down on the blind side.
Cruden scoring a consolation try to ensure the Chiefs at least got a losing bonus point.
The way the whole squad stepped up this year has been unreal. It doesn't matter if they haven't been in the team and then get called in late, or they've been starting every week.
Now 12 from 12, they've also clinched all 4 New Zealand scalps. Matt Hall.
And that's it for Trukai Sports. Up next, your weather details. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Here's a look at the weather for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Fine weather in Daru and Popondetta, mostly fine in Port Moresby and Alata, cloudy with some showers for Kerema. To the Momasa region, rain in Wau, fine becoming cloudy for Lae. Rain in Wau, as I said, fine weather in Madang, partly cloudy for Wewak and Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, cloudy with some storms for Lorengau, Kavieng, cloudy with some showers for Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, cloudy with showers as well for Buka. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg can expect some cloudy weather over the next 24 hours with morning fog. And that's the news, sports and weather for today, Saturday the 20th of May 2017. On behalf of the EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.